What's going on? New start to the video. Anyway, I doubt that's gonna stick. I don't know. I just got it in my head to say, "Oh, hi there." I don't know why I just do. Anyway, not shooting it with my regular camera because I'm noticing that it's sticking when this goes to open, and it's not because I was abusive with it. It's not because I was poking at it. I don't know why. It simply is, but I'll fix that a little later. Probably just needs something. I don't know. Anyway, this video, what it's going to be about is I've heard that people have been calling me Phil Kessel because I'm a little bit fatter than than I should be as a hockey player. Actually, I've done a lot to lose a lot of weight, especially around the chest and gut area. I do a lot of sit-ups and a lot of bench presses, and it's done a lot. The only thing is a little bit of binge drinking, and it all comes back. So obviously, there's got to be a bit of balance there. Anyway, I don't want to look like Phil Kessel because he's renowned for eating hot dogs, a lot of hot dogs. Like I suppose I would eat hot dogs, but like not very often. I mean, there are sausages out there that are a lot better, like I like Bradwursts and things like that, like decent kind of sausages anyway. Um, yeah, but the ones you get at sporting events, I don't know about them. They really ought to upgrade the quality of food that they have there. It's not tremendously very difficult. Put a little lettuce in there, a little tomato in their burgers and things like that. And, I don't actually even know if they do that or not. Have more Japa dogs or something because, their hot dogs actually aren't too bad with all the different types they can have. I remember spending $5 on a Japa dog, and my friend's dad thought that that was outrageous. And from his perspective, it probably was. But anyway, I don't want to look like Phil Kessel, so I gotta lose some weight. Unfortunately, my knee's been causing me a lot of problems, so doing cardio has not been easy for me. But I'm trying here. Haven't lost any weight, but it's been redistributed. So I like to think it's muscle mass that I'm gaining, but I really don't know. From certain angles, I look all right in the mirror, so that's all right. And I'll work on the other one, so that gives me some time. Anyway, yeah, as a as an involuntary celibate, as someone in a bubble, it's comes clear that the thing is, anyone who's worth any kind of money, I'm not saying that I am, who's worth any kind of money, is in the spotlight or anything like that, lives in a bubble. So Phil Kessel lives in a bubble, Alexander Ovechkin lives in a bubble. Um, all hockey players, for the most part, live in bubbles. They have to because somebody somewhere will be pissed off with them for no good reason. That's simply the way it is if you're in the spotlight and you're worth money. Even if you're not worth money, you're gonna have people who don't like you. And with my channel, there's no way I don't have people who despise me. And in fact, some people have actually called me those names. Not very often. There's, enough for me to be aware of such a thing, but I can't turn around and go, oh, they're calling me it every day, and they are, simply not to my face, that's all, or in some sort of format where I can see it. Because that's the thing about being an involuntary celibate and living in, your own kind of sphere of influence, is that if it's brought on upon by mental health, of course, the last thing they want you to do is have any meaningful contact with anybody. So you don't really get too many conversations, especially in depth with anybody. And a few of the people I did know who I had many in-depth conversations with, um, yeah, I don't know. We're not on the same page, so that's obviously an issue. Um, yeah, Fuchs also talented hockey player, can score goals, is still successful in the Pittsburgh Penguins, but I do not want to be called Phil Kessel. And I don't even think I look that much like him, to be honest. Um, Yeah, it was, it was some punks who were calling me that, so, whatever. Um, it's funny though. Yeah, that kind of conversation actually doesn't bring me down. Even if Phil Kessel was not a talented hockey player or anything like that, being gently nudged, saying, "Look, man, you're fat. You gotta lose some weight." I could live with that. That's fine by me. And if I really want to be athletically gifted, which I'd like to be one day, I mean, psychiatric medications kind of slow that down, but it's not a barrier. It's an obstacle. That's all it is. And, there's no reason that these sort of problems don't happen to actual NHL players. As I said, they live in bubbles themselves. And, a lot of the physical negative aspects of psychiatric medication um, can be taken out so that they don't affect the performance of the player. And I'm sure that there have been players in the NHL, probably not in any current roster, who have had mental health problems in the nature of schizophrenia or bipolar or whatever, and have been treated, whether within the NHL or outside. And it doesn't get talked about much because mental health doesn't want to talk about anything too much because if people saw who they were and what they do, they'd be kind of spooked out by them, and they'd have every right to be because they're kind of scary people. But in the NHL, you get privy to this knowledge and other knowledge and a lot of really cool, interesting stuff. And you get to learn about the world and what's going on, the easy way. Like, if you're on the outside looking in, it is so hard to learn about anything because they make it so boring. Why do you think I didn't want to go to university? Because I could have gone. I could have gone, but I didn't want to go because I knew that spending that amount of time and money, would not have been what I was interested in doing. Of course, I might have a professional YouTube channel had I done that, and perhaps I wouldn't be in such a bubble as I am. However, I have ran into many of people who have went to university and it didn't work out for them. So, life has a tendency to fuck everybody over sometimes. And I guess being called Phil Kessel is the least of my worries, um, especially as I was being called involuntary celibate, which is true, but not in the way they describe it. Not in the way they describe it. They're a bunch of douchebags, those people are. I'm trying to make this video more hockey orientated, but it's kind of hard to think of a good conspiracy theory, I think. And I mean, I could talk more about Eric Carlson, but I really don't want to. I don't even want to touch that conspiracy theory with a 10-foot pole. But why is he still a big name? You see posters of him in Vancouver, and it's like, why is he so important? And I noticed that they changed his hands on the posters. They made his hands look bigger. I don't know why. It's not that his hands are small or anything like that. They just made him look unnormally big. And that's clearly not his hands. Those were digitally edited. I noticed that about Eric Carlson is that he's got posters up, selling suits and stuff like that. And they made his hands bigger. They changed his actual hands on the poster, and I don't know why they would do that. As I said, he doesn't have small hands or abnormal hands of any way that I know of, unless he's broken them since whenever. I don't think that's the case. I think they just digitally alter everything to do with people who are on television because of ridiculous reasons. As I said before, Eric Carlson is a handsome man, but in saying that, nobody is perfect in the physical sense, anyway. I'm not. Eric Carlson's not. George Clooney isn't. You name it, they're not. Uh, it's one of those things. It's all about lighting and angles, and trying to keep yourself in shape. Obviously, don't have bad breath. Brush your teeth. If you're gonna have facial hair like I do, I don't have the best beard, but I have a bit of a beard, and I kind of like it. I could trim it, but I don't really. I could shave it, I meant, but I don't really feel like doing that. I could though. Yeah, this video was going to be geared towards more hockey because involuntary celibacy conversation kind of gets boring after a while. Very, very boring. But yeah, but getting back to the being in a bubble thing, someone in a bubble can hear something that nobody else can hear. And it's not voices, it's not irregular thoughts, it's not anything. It's just they get a sense of what's going on in society indirectly, well, not directly, but subtly, um, that other people don't hear and don't process because they're on a different wavelength. And that's not crazy talk. That's everyone's observations are different, right? But somebody in particular in a bubble is going to have, different intellectual stimuli, and other things are going to affect them differently because of their experience. And I know that there's some things that like I look at and I go, "Whoa, man, that's kind of like out there kind of thing." And a lot of people look at it as, it being normal. And I've challenged the status quo, and I've paid for it, but physically I'm starting to feel better, and I'd really like to get on the ice and actually play hockey. That'd be amazing. But I'd need a few junk jerseys to do that because I'm certainly not going out there with my Derek Bugard jersey, or I suppose the Sidney Crosby jersey would be desi designated as a junk jersey. I mean, nobody likes Sidney Crosby. That's not a nice thing to say. Um, yeah, okay. I'm starting to ramble here. I don't got much. I just like I wanted to make a video today, and I didn't really have a topic, and now it's like now I'm just prattling on. So I think that's all I've got to say. I'll talk to you people later, and if any of that made sense to any of you, you can hit the thumbs up if you like. But I'll talk to you later. Have a good one.